The Seattle Seahawks may have just received a triple boost, and it could reshape the season outlook in a big way. First, momentum is building around head coach Mike Macdonald, whose defensive identity is starting to take hold inside the locker room. Players have reportedly bought in, and that culture shift alone can change close game outcomes. Second, continued development from key young talent like Jackson Smith-Njigba gives the offense legitimate upside. If the passing game becomes more explosive, defenses will have to adjust fast. Third, stability at quarterback with Geno Smith provides experience and leadership, something many teams lack during transitions. If all three trends hold, Seattle could quietly move from rebuilding narrative to serious contender talk. If you're a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, you might want to sit down for this one, because the energy around this franchise just shifted in a big way. Today we're talking about a triple dose of good news that could completely reshape expectations heading into the new season. This isn't just off-season hype. This is real momentum, real development, and real reasons to believe that something special might be brewing in Seattle. First, let's talk about the quarterback situation, because everything in the modern National Football League starts under center. When Geno Smith stepped into the starting role, there were doubters everywhere. People questioned whether he could sustain high-level play, whether his breakout season was just lightning in a bottle, and whether the Seahawks needed to draft and develop his replacement immediately. But the latest reports out of camp and team facilities suggest something very different. Geno isn't just maintaining his level. He's elevating it. Coaches and teammates have been praising his command of the offense, his leadership in the locker room, and most importantly, his chemistry with the skilled players. Sources close to the team describe a quarterback who looks more confident than ever, making quicker reads and pushing the ball downfield with authority. That matters, because when your quarterback is decisive and in rhythm, the entire offense plays faster. The good news here is not just that Geno is solid. It's that he appears locked in, motivated, and determined to prove that his resurgence was no fluke. Now let's move to the second piece of good news, and it might be just as important as the first. The weapons around Geno are not just intact, they're thriving. DK Metcalf looks physically dominant, reportedly in peak condition and sharper in his route running. When DK combines size, speed, and improved technical precision, defensive coordinators lose sleep. His ability to stretch the field vertically opens everything underneath. And speaking of underneath, Tyler Lockett continues to defy expectations year after year. Lockett's route running, spatial awareness, and connection with Geno have been described as almost telepathic. He knows how to find soft spots in coverage, and Geno trusts him implicitly on key downs. That kind of chemistry doesn't show up overnight. It's built over reps, trust, and timing. When you have two receivers who complement each other so perfectly, it makes life incredibly difficult for opposing defenses. But the triple dose of good news doesn't stop with the offense. The third and maybe most emotionally charged update comes from the defensive side of the ball. For the past few seasons, injuries and inconsistency have plagued key defensive contributors. Now, reports indicate that several impact players are healthy, motivated, and flying around in practice. One name that stands out immediately is Jamal Adams. When healthy, Adams brings a level of intensity and versatility that transforms the defensive identity. Having him back at full strength means the Seahawks can disguise coverages more effectively, send creative blitz packages, and play with the kind of swagger that once defined this franchise. A confident, aggressive defense changes the tone of games. It gives the offense shorter fields. It energizes the crowd. And in a city like Seattle, crowd energy is a real factor. Another layer to all this good news is stability at the top. Pete Carroll has always been known for his optimism, but there's a noticeable difference when optimism is backed by tangible progress. Those around the organization say the atmosphere feels competitive yet focused. Younger players are stepping up, veterans are setting the tone, and the coaching staff seems aligned with a clear vision. That alignment matters more than people realize. When the front office, coaching staff, and locker room are moving in the same direction, you eliminate distractions. You eliminate uncertainty. Instead of asking what are we building, the team starts asking how far can we go? And that psychological shift can be powerful. Let's break down why this triple dose of good news could translate into actual wins. First, improved quarterback play reduces turnovers. Fewer turnovers mean better time of possession and less pressure on the defense. Second, healthy and dynamic receivers force defenses to play honest coverage, which opens up the run game. When safeties can't cheat up, running lanes get wider. That balance makes the entire offense unpredictable. Third, a healthier defense with versatile playmakers creates more takeaways. Interceptions, forced fumbles, sacks on third down, these are drive killers. Momentum in the NFL often swings on one or two explosive defensive plays. If Seattle starts generating those consistently, it changes close games into statement wins. There's also the division factor to consider. The NFC West is never easy. Every matchup feels like a heavyweight fight. But when you stack positive developments in your favor, you give yourself a legitimate shot to compete at the top. The Seahawks aren't just hoping for other teams to stumble. They're building internal strength. Another underrated aspect of this good news is depth. Reports indicate that younger players are pushing veterans for starting roles. Competition in camp has been intense, and that's exactly what you want. Iron sharpens iron. When starters know they have to earn their reps, the overall level of performance rises. Depth becomes crucial as the season grinds on, and injuries inevitably occur. Fans have been waiting for a clear signal that this team isn't stuck in transition mode. For a while, it felt like Seattle was balancing between rebuilding and contending. This triple wave of positivity suggests they may be ready to step fully into contender territory. Not because of hype, but because of tangible improvement at quarterback, receiver, and defense simultaneously. Imagine an offense where Geno distributes the ball confidently, DK is winning deep and in contested situations, and Lockett is carving up the intermediate zones. Now pair that with a defense that can blitz creatively, rotate coverages, and create chaos in the backfield. That combination is dangerous. And let's not ignore the emotional component. Teams that believe in themselves play differently. When a locker room senses that something special is possible, practices become sharper. Film sessions become more detailed. Accountability rises. The Seahawks have always thrived when doubted. Now they're in a position where belief is building both internally and externally. Of course, none of this guarantees a championship run. The NFL is unpredictable. Injuries happen. Momentum shifts. But stacking good news at key positions dramatically increases your margin for error. It gives you resilience. It gives you options. The biggest takeaway here is timing. All three pieces of good news are hitting at once. The quarterback looks sharp. The receivers look explosive. The defense looks healthier and more aggressive. That convergence is rare. Often teams get one positive development while waiting on another. Seattle appears to be aligning multiple strengths at the same time. For fans, this is the moment to lean in. Optimism isn't blind when it's supported by performance indicators. The Seahawks aren't just talking about improvement. They're demonstrating it on the practice field and inside team facilities. So what does this mean moving forward? It means expectations should rise. It means every game becomes an opportunity to prove that this triple dose of good news wasn't just off-season noise. It means the rest of the league will start paying attention if Seattle comes out firing on all cylinders. And here's the most exciting part. The ceiling might be higher than people think. If Geno continues ascending, if DK and Lockett stay productive and healthy, and if the defense finds its aggressive identity again, this team won't just compete. It will challenge. Seattle fans have seen dominant eras before. They know what it feels like when belief turns into reality. This might not be that era yet, but the ingredients are starting to look familiar. Strong quarterback play. Explosive receivers. Physical, opportunistic defense. Unified coaching vision. That's the triple dose of good news. It's not one headline. It's three interconnected developments that together create something bigger than the sum of their parts. momentum, belief, opportunity. And if you're a Seahawks fan, that should have you excited. Because when good news comes in threes, sometimes it signals the beginning of something special.